Oh, we are live. We said at the final gun, and tonight, instead of being a few minutes late, we're a few minutes early as the Broncos lead the Niners 30-9 with 2:03 left, and kind of a fun game to watch. Welcome in, everybody. It is the gut reaction, the first official gut reaction of the Mile High Huddle podcast in 2025. Well, not counting, I suppose, Zach, the loss in Buffalo, but I digress. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zach, the Broncos started out in a 9-point hole and stormed back with, 30 unanswered points, brother. What's been your gut reaction so far, knowing people are going to be a little bit anxious that the starters on both sides of the ball didn't look so hot?
You guys are going to hear me say this a lot tonight. It's only preseason. Let's take a step back from the ledge. Let's all take a collective breath and realize mistakes and looking out of sorts is supposed to happen now. That's what preseason is all about. The starting defense did not look great. You know, they got punched in the mouth early. They kind of responded a little bit. At least the second team did. The starting offense, we all wanted to see Bo Nix and the fireworks. We didn't get much of that, but the second, third, fourth, and the backups, they did look good today. They had a resounding victory. So I choose to focus on the good and the fact that we're not in week one yet, Chad. We still have some work to do and time to go.
No doubt about it. Before I get this thing rolling, we don't have Mr. Producer tonight, and it's showing a little bit of an issue with the main Facebook page. So just real quick, I'm not going to bog down the podcast with this. I'm going to try it one more time. Connecting the Facebook real fast, and then if it doesn't work, we'll kind of move on here. But yeah, you know, a big part of why Bo didn't resonate out of the gates, and get those questions and those super chats in, you guys, because this is about you guys tonight. But if Courtland Sutton, Zach, doesn't bobble that first kind of shot Bo took down the left sideline, a little bit of a fade, that was a beautiful throw. He put it on the outside because it was inside leverage. It was on the money. Courtland kind of, I don't know why he bobbled it. That's normally something that's child's play for him. It's second nature. But if he doesn't bobble that one, Zach, and the Broncos, boom, we're in a rhythm. We just struck after, of course, you know, on the heels of immediately that big strike from Mac Jones, 50-yarder, et cetera, maybe we'd be singing a different tune. And if you allow these guys to play out a full game, then I'm sure Bo Nix and company fully respond. But as Sean Payton said at halftime, heading into the locker room for the break, Zach, he was disappointed in the starters, but guys, he's not going to be running for the cliff or sucking his thumb, rocking back and forth in the corner.
Yeah, I thought the placement on the Courtland Sutton ball was pretty good. I'd have to watch it again. I thought it was definitely catchable. That was an issue that Courtland Sutton experienced last season, and it's going to happen during the course of preseason. It's going to happen in the regular season. I'm not choosing to freak out. I'm taking the good out of this game, Chad, and the fact that Bo, for the most part, he was pretty accurate and decisive with the football.
No doubt. Let's pause for a second here. Say what's up to one of our great superstars and members, Taylor Christensen. What's up, brother? He says the starting O-line struggled today, and I'm throwing this in, all Bo's fault. Yeah, it was not pretty. It was a little bit leaky. Bo, I got to be honest, and look, as the guy that's echoing Zach, I don't know what happened there, but as the guy that is going to echo my part, he'll be back. Hang tight, guys. Are you on the Zach? Are you on the? Well, he'll come back when he can, but I'm not freaking out over Bo Nix. But at the same time, he had some cobwebs. You could tell that it's been 7 months of not being in like real live, intense live bullet action, and takes 11 guys, and it wasn't fully in sync with the ones. You could just feel that, Taylor. So yeah, I agree. The O-line was a little bit leaky. With Bo on the field. William, what's up, brother? Zach's back with us. I'm just grabbing this super chat here, Zach, from William Shaw in the house, saying, still at the stadium. We'll watch when I get home. Let's just say Niner fans are not impressed. Need to hear some Broncos takes. Loved having the Broncos in my hometown this week. Have a good show. Go Broncos. That's really cool for you, William, that you got to be got to have him in your backyard, so to speak. But yeah, I was seeing it from a lot of our colleagues, Zach, in the NFL business who cover the Niners, who've been reading all the clippings and all the hype about Bo this summer. Not impressed by Bo Nix tonight. And I mean, it's not just that he didn't look great. He also had that really kind of boneheaded moment where he got the safety on the intentional grounding, which you can argue, Zach, that he was outside the pocket. That shouldn't have been. Well, not really, dude. He was. You got to know where you're at. A little bit of like awareness, and that goes back to Zach again. Cobwebs, shaking it off. Easy, guys. Easy, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm having some StreamYard issues. I don't know if I'm glitching or what's going on right now. But again, it was the first preseason game, Chad. I had a comment on Twitter that said they should fire Vance Joseph, or Vance Joseph is a loser. It was the first drive of the first quarter of the first preseason game. Just let's all take a deep breath.
I had a similar mention or a similar comment in my mentions. And it's always like when something goes wrong at all on defense, the first thing some fans want to say is fire Vance, or I knew Vance was going to be a problem, or what have you. And I got to disagree with that take. It's just shaking off the cobwebs a little bit, guys. But I'm just checking my phone because we don't have Scott, and I want to make sure Zach's looking all right because he looks all right through the studio side. But you guys keep us in the loop if it gets a little wonky. The StreamYard issues continue on. William with the second super scene. By the way, I thought RJ Harvey looked explosive. Troy Franklin looked good. Yeah, I mean, Troy had a step on his guy on that last big miss that Bo had. It was like they settled for the field goal, Zach, in the second quarter. Troy Franklin definitely had a step on his guy. Bo just underthrew it. And so, yeah, Troy looked good, but Harvey with some twitch and some explosion. If you allow him, and you can see why, Zach, they're prioritizing getting that outside zone rolling because, dude, if you allow RJ Harvey to the edge, you're going to pay.
Yeah, you saw why the Broncos made him a second-round pick. I really quickly, my takeaway from this game is Audric Estime is the lone man out of the Broncos backfield. He's drawing the short stick. He looked like post Javonte Williams knee surgery, just lacking explosion, less than 3 yards a carry last I checked, Chad, and everyone else looked good in comparison. So if there's one player that his stock is trending down in the backfield, to me that's Estime.
Yeah, he had a couple, at least one decent run. I was kind of taking my eyes off of things while I was setting up the stream tonight, but yeah, he finished with a 2.7 yards per carry average. Papa Bear, what's going on, big dog? Great to see you. Great member and superstar saying good evening, Broncos country. Let's go, Bo. 13-4 plus. I love it, dude. Gang's all here. Tanner, what's going on, big dog? Great to see you. Saying ready for the regular season, boys. Let's go, Broncos. Hashtag state of being. That's right. Broncos country, you know this, not a geographic location. As William's proving, as Tanner's proving, it's a state of being. It's wherever you are. So that's really cool. Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. We'll see Bo and the starters again in preseason game 2, and then you won't see him again till week 1, Zach, against the Titans. So I expect you'll see a better situation or a better performance from Bo and company. They're not going to be happy with all the opportunities they kind of left on the field tonight.
No, and they're going to look at the film and they're going to make the corrections. And I made this point a couple podcasts ago. I've seen so many teams, the Broncos included, have undefeated preseasons looking like world beaters in the exhibition period. And then the regular season rolls around and it's like, who is this team and where did the good team go? So I'd rather them look bad now in August than look bad in September and so forth.
Nick Bonito, though, when you want to talk about the ones, he was not struggling today. You were advocating, Zach, on Twitter. Pay that man on the way back, dude. Get him signed on the plane. By the way, 3318KK. We're not talking about the underthrown ball to Cortland in the end zone. We're talking about the first Bo series where he had him down the left sideline. So that other one was also left side, but we're not talking about end zone. We're talking about early on in the possession. Oh, there it is. Ronk. Good evening, Chad and Zach on the MHH podcast. Broncos' first NFL preseason game against the Niners. Go Bo Broncos. Amen to that, brother. So good to see you tonight. We got Big Earn in the house. What's up, buddy? We got Gene William. How about Stiddy? Gene says, looked like prime Brady. LOL. Broncos are back, baby. Honestly, it just feels good to have him back. You know, allow them the opportunity to work out the wiggles. one of the things, Zach, and it's a fair critique that people are saying, it's not just, the starters, the first team on a defense and offense didn't look so good. It's that the first team on offense and defense didn't look so good, Zach, against San Francisco's second team.
And the trope is they had joint practices, so there's no excuse why they should have started off that slow, and they should have looked better. But the other team gets paid too. Credit to the Niners. They came out and had a plan of attack. I know the Broncos don't game plan for preseason games, Chad. They're very vanilla, specifically, intentionally. And I just think they're going to look a lot different in week 1 against the Titans than what you saw tonight from the starting units.
Robert Salah, that's the thing you got to keep in mind, everybody, too, is, the ones didn't look good against their twos. It doesn't matter, man. He has his guys on defense ready to just energize and ready to run through a brick freaking wall. So I'm not making excuses for the defense. For the offense, pardon. I'm just adding context and food for thought. Ted Wonderlick, what's up, dude? We've missed you. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope to see you at the meet and greet, by the way, October 19th. Says, what's up, MHH family? I'd been taking the spring and summer off from football following, but I'm so happy the Broncos are finally back, rusty or not. No matter what, it's always MHH for life. Dude, stoked to see you. Hope you had a great spring and summer, my brother, and welcome back to the campfire. We've kept it blazing, as you can see. We've had a few threats of the campfire. The StreamYard thing was doused us a few times, but we stayed strong, and here we are. Mixologistic. Wait a minute. That's an at handle, Zach, I don't recognize, but I think it's Jeff C. If I recall. I'm pretty sure from the profile pic. You see, you're numbered in my heart, Jeff. Dude, I remember you, big dog. I'm noticing, by the way, guys, tonight, for the first time, it's not showing people's whatever your name is on YouTube. They're showing whatever you've chosen to be your handle. And if you haven't chosen your handle, they're assigning you one if you haven't noticed. But he says, does Jeff bring back Drew Lock? Just kidding. He says, Bo will be fine. Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. But especially, Zach, when you have guys like Trent Sherfield showing out to the point that Gene made for a guy like Jarrett Stidham, man, Zach, you and I were talking about this right before we went live. We might have been sleeping on how big of an addition Sherfield Sr. might be.
Yeah, for sure. I know I did. I thought he's going to be a special teams guy primarily, and Sean Payton started talking him up. He put in off-season practices and put it together in the preseason game now. So hopefully he'll keep it going. But right now he looks like a lock to make the 53, Chad.
No doubt. Naj, what's up, bro? Great to see you. Thank you so much, everybody, for the super chats. He says, hey, brothers, great to get a win. Starting offense struggled, but defense was solid throughout. That running back battle with Bidet and Watson will be interesting. A lot of time left before the Titans for the offense to figure things out. I honestly, my observation, Zach, more than anything on Bo, was that he seemed a little tight. Like he seemed, and by that I mean kind of uptight. I wrote up an article today last night and published it today, Zach, based on something Mike Shanahan told the team website yesterday after watching the joint practices Thursday. He's talking about Bo Nix and how cool, calm, and collected he is and all that. And that's a common takeaway people have when observing Bo Nix. He didn't seem that way today. He seemed a little bit tight, a little bit pressing kind of. And I think that's due to two things. One, all the time off, and it's the first live bullet action in 7 months, let's be honest, in the game flow, and you're on the field, you're off the field, and all that stuff. But also there's been a lot said about him, Zach, over the last 2.5, 3 weeks in particular. I mean, Broncos fans, we've been stoked on him all off season, right? But all of a sudden, since training camp started, people around the NFL talking about Bo Nix, buzzing about him. And then, of course, his head coach goes out and says he's going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback over the next 2 years and a superstar. And you got to wonder, I'll speak for myself. I got to wonder how much of that is he going, man, it's making him a little bit less fluid and loose out there.
Yeah, I thought the other day that Sean Payton wouldn't put those expectations on Bo if he didn't think he could handle them. And I think there's a correlation to be made. You're right. These Super Bowl discussions and the talks and the hype, it wasn't occurring in February or March. It was occurring like a week ago. It's still very fresh in Broncos country's mind. So with that being said, that's the expectation, even for a preseason game, and they come out and they don't look so hot. They don't look like a Super Bowl team right off the bat. That's where you see the freak out. It doesn't make it right. I'm not exonerating it. I'm just trying to explain it. But you guys have to pump the brakes if you fall into that camp. They're going to be looking a lot better against the Titans in week 1.
Jess, good to see you, brother. He says, we are back 8 years with you guys since 2017 Facebook. Dude, that's so cool, buddy.
Thank
so
you, Jess.
Cool. Great to see you, bro. Welcome back to the campfire. We also have the Duchess, who has not left the campfire. She's been helping us keep it blazing this offseason. It's very generous, super. And of course, as you can see, that cool little insignia. Those of you who are just now coming back to the campfire, about 2 weeks ago, we launched the membership offering on YouTube. So another way to support what we do and get access to that content for members only. But the Duchess, every which way, she's always supporting the cause and contributing to the conversation. Can't wait to see you soon, Michaela. She says, thank you, Chad, for the book club. What was wrong with Bo? And by the way, pay Nick. In case you missed it, guys, for the members only membership we're doing on YouTube, Broncos Book Club is back on YouTube, and we're doing the Elway years. Today was episode 2. Kelberman's Corner is back starting on Tuesday for YouTube members only. Hot takes that hold water, the dragon returneth. But yeah, what was wrong with, that was my take on Bo, as I mentioned, just a little stiff. And who knows, I could be making things up in terms of the things that have been said about him, Zach. It's probably more due to just being out of the rhythm. It's been 7 months. Yeah, they've been practicing their arses off, but game flow and kind of game situation, it creates a different ambiance that you also kind of have to acclimate to in a hurry.
I also think there's like a subconscious understanding for a gamer like Bo Nix, in the sense that this game doesn't matter, and you might want to save your quivers for the games that do in the fall, Chad, and not necessarily risk yourself or threaten anything, knowing that you didn't game plan for the game. But also, you're gonna have bad performances. You're going to not look great sometimes. It's going to happen in the regular season. I don't know what the expectation was for you, Michaela, for Bo, if you wanted him to come out and go perfect and have 2 touchdown passes. But it's a new offense in the sense that a lot of new moving pieces, 2 new running backs, a new tight end, new receivers. This is the time where you should be getting the kinks out, and they will, and they are.
I'm not sure what Duchess is meaning here from the context. Yes, we're a non-factor as well. I'm not sure exactly, Zach, if I'm missing something. If you want to, tight ends were a non-factor, she's saying. Until the very end, really, you got some action. Well, I guess 2 touchdowns scored by tight ends. One, that wide open Lucas Kroll touchdown, and then late in the game, Prieskorn got one for Sam Ellinger. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really get much of a look at Evan Ingram, so don't worry too much about that yet, Michaela. And I want to see some Caleb Lohner, to be honest with you. I wanted to see more of Lohner than what I saw from Kroll and Prieskorn, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that Ingram was a non-factor, but again, it's preseason, Michaela, so wake me in September. You're going to hear that a lot tonight.
Thank you so much. 2 super chats from the Duchess. Claude, hey, Zach, if you can, you might want to turn down your speakers a little bit because I'm hearing my mic coming back through. Claude says, dude, Claude Riley in the house too. This is making it hard on us a little bit because fortunately your name's easy to remember. I remember you, of course. But people coming back to the podcast after spending some time away, and their handles are looking different because of YouTube. But anyway, Claude, bro, stoked to have you back. Says, feels good. Go Broncos. And remember, Zach has said this for a long, long time. A win is a win is a win. Is a win is a win is a win. So let's not cry over triumph and victory. Doc James, what's up, dude? By the way, I just saw also becoming a new member, bro. Thank you so much for that, Doc. Really appreciate you. And I'm sorry we couldn't get to Thursday night, right as we signed off. Boom. Then very next thing, it shows we're done streaming. Boom. Super chat comment from Doc. So sorry about that, dude. We'll find a way to make it up to you. But he says, hey, fellas, the priests are meeting. I love the run game. Anything scare you guys? I was not happy the 49ers drove down the field on that first drive. Football's back. Woohoo. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep a few things in mind, too, on that first drive. First of all, it was like that 50-yard strike was a perfect throw, and a perfect throw will be perfect coverage every single time. So, hey, credit to Jones and I'm blanking on that receiver, Zach, that caught the big 50-yarder. But anyway, credit to them. They made the play. And then in a normal game flow, they don't go for it on fourth down in a real game on their opening possession. They're kicking a field goal right there. But they went for it in the red zone on fourth down and did a little, quarterback sneak, moved the chains, and gave him a new set of downs, and the rest is history. But nothing scared me at all in terms of like genuine fear. Nothing scared me. But I want to see the first team offense in particular. I felt like, Zach, the defense redeemed itself in different ways, not the least of which was like Nick Bonito almost having a sack on 3 straight snaps. But I want to see the offense redeem itself in game 2.
Yeah, nothing scared me from this. If these issues were popping up in week 1 against the Titans, I would be a little nervous. But again, this is the period to get it all out. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that's the reality of it. This is the whole point of preseason. Games that don't matter. Win or loss, it doesn't matter. Get out of there uninjured and focus on the areas that need cleaned up.
Thanks again, Doc, for becoming a member on YouTube, brother. Stoked.
Thank you, Doc.
We also have the legendary mythical D-Dub. Dale is
Dale.
in the house, jumping in from the top rope. Generous super chat. Thank you so much, bro. You know we love you. Says, great to watch some Broncos football. Amen to that, dude. Didn't it feel good just to have the Broncos playing tonight and be able to watch? It's all about coaching going forward, Dale says. Peyton didn't say the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl. This will come down to how we're playing in December. Lots of football and coaching to take place over the next 20 weeks. I'm excited. That's true. He just said that this is the 7th team he's coached where this early in the, we'll call it the preseason. So basically before the season started, this early, 7th team he's felt like is Super Bowl capable, quote unquote. And some of those teams got to the conference title game. Some of them made the playoffs. He didn't mention whether any of the 7 actually was one of those teams that the one team in 2009 for the Saints that won the Super Bowl. But nevertheless, Zach, Dale's point here, hey, let it unfold. Take it easy. It's going to be about the coaching.
If you guys don't want to take it, thank you so much, Dale, first and foremost, for your generosity. I know it's football season when we start seeing these heaping piles of support, and we're so happy to go over them. But if you don't take it from me, take it from Dale here. It's going to be a long season. There's still 2 games left to the preseason, 17 regular season games. They're going to find their way. It was never going to be perfect off the bat. And they still got, like Chad said, it was a blowout victory. So how much can we really be upset about it?
Yes, dude. So great to see you. And thank you for providing some measured context in your take there, D-Dub. Appreciate you, brother, so much. We also have Viborita 95 from Mexico, dude. Awesome. See? Hashtag state of being, baby. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Welcome. If you're somebody we know and it's just the handle, I don't recognize you, apologies. But guys, check into that. Make sure your handle reflects your name that maybe we know, by the way. That's first thing tonight. That's the first time I've ever seen this. He does say, though, Viborita, I wouldn't be worried. Preseason is the spotlight for the backups to be motivated. It would be more worrisome if they didn't do well in practices. Well said, dude. That's a great take. And that is what the preseason is about. It's about, allowing the starters to kind of get their wiggles out, get kind of acclimated to game function, game speed, intensity. But it's mostly about allowing Zach, the guys genuinely pushing for a roster spot, the opportunity to ply their wares.
And there were cracks in the armor that showed during the joint practices, Chad. The Niners got theirs against the Broncos, I think, in red zone on back-to-back drills. The Broncos also got theirs against the Niners offense. We have to keep in mind the other team gets paid too. That's a good team coached by a really good coach in Kyle Shanahan. It is what it is. It wasn't the worst football I ever saw today, and the bad that we did see will get corrected going forward.
Legendary. The face,
Whoa,
the first
dude.
face etched on the MHH Mount Rushmore of Super Chat Superstars. Right here, Zeus McPeak. Zeus, good to see you, buddy. He's stoked, just like we are. Football is back. Absolutely, brother. So great to see you, Stu. Hope you're doing well, big dog.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stu. Football is back.
But just going over a few things here, Zach, like on offense, the number one thing, regardless of which unit was on the field, is it's like this is another thing Mike Shanahan said yesterday. Well, hey, coach, isn't a defense a young quarterback, a good defense, a young quarterback's best friend? And he goes, yeah, and a good running game. And the Broncos are going to have both this year. And sure enough, I mean, as a team tonight, again, no first team Niners, but they wouldn't have played long anyway had they been on the field. But as a team, the Broncos rushed for 153 yards. Bidet, 32 yards on 5 carries. That's a 6.4 yard average. Blake Watson comes in, not to be outdone, rushes for 28 yards on 4 carries. So that's a 7-yard average. RJ Harvey's numbers got a little bit clipped at the tail end of his time on the field, but still, he was looking explosive. 7 runs, 25 yards, 3.6 average with a long of 11. By the way, Blake Watson, a long of 18. Estime kind of brought up the rear in terms of, and McLaughlin. I mean, he wasn't able to really get much going, although he did have a big play wiped off the board due to a penalty. So, Zach, that's one of the elating takeaways, really encouraging, because obviously the ground game last year was just not consistent, and we really wanted to see some improvements there. And so far, so good. We didn't get to see J.K. Dobbins carry the ball as a running back, but he did catch one for 4 yards.
He also, it was negated by a penalty on the defense, but he dropped a wide open. Bo made a really nice play to get out of trouble, and he found Dobbins on the dump off. Dobbins dropped it. They'll get that corrected, but you see the explosion. You see both the ceiling and the floor of the Broncos backfield is exponentially higher than it was in 2024.
By the way, Jarrett Stidham, 14 of 15, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. So looking good in his 3rd year in this offense. So it should provide some comfort. I'm knocking on wood. In the event anything, I'm biting my tongue as I say this, should happen to Bo, Stidham looking very good in this offense with his 3rd season. And even Ellinger at the end, 55 yards and a touchdown, 60% completion, 108 rating. So good for those guys. Zach, aside from Sherfield, we touched on how impressive Sherfield was on that second team. Any of the other receivers impress you tonight?
Who had the punt return? Was it Jackson or was it Joaquin Davis? Yeah,
Jackson.
Courtney Jackson's been looking good in the summer, and he, again, another guy, when the bright lights came on, he showed out today. Not going to make the 53, but he's looking like a practice squad stash, Chad.
It's curious how much action he was getting in that respect. I mean, it's going to be their all-pro Marvin Mims, but I don't know, man. If he brings that much value on special teams as a returner, it's going to be interesting to see that roster math, because even though, say, Joaquin Davis has looked better on offense, Jackson's got that twitch and that wiggle. He could probably do about as well for you as the 6th or whatever it is, 7th guy, 6th guy. What would it be? The 6th guy. And then he brings some returner ability and special teams acumen. That's something as an undrafted guy that is exceedingly valuable to bring to the table at this point. And Lady D jumping in. Goodness so gracious. Generous. First of all, she jumps in with a very generous super chat.
Thank you, Deanna.
It was great to see you earlier today for episode 2 of Broncos Book Club for the YouTube members, Lady D. And thank you so much for the generous super chat. She says, super happy with football being back. So are we. Saw some good things today. No injuries is a win. I'm stoked for regular season. Getting the bugs out in games doesn't count. Go Broncos, MHH for life. Well said. And she also, by the way, gifted 20 Mile High Huddle YouTube memberships to members in the chat currently. So you guys check your notifications on YouTube. And if you saw that you were gifted a membership to the MHH channel, it came from Lady D. Act accordingly. What an awesome human being you are, Deanna. Love you so much.
Yeah, Deanna, thank you so much for your generosity. And we really have the best community. As I said with Dale a few minutes ago, if you don't take it from me, take it from Lady D here. They're getting the bugs out in the games that don't matter. That's perfectly said. And when the games do matter, the Broncos starting offense and defense will look much improved than what you saw tonight. Thank you so much again, Deanna.
Brand new member Doc says, so great to get the cobwebs off the NFL preseason. Looking for the starters to kick some, you know what, that first day in Tennessee. And also new member String Guy, aka our friend Roger, jumping in and saying most of the penalties were second and third team. So no worries for me. On the bright side, look how many turnovers we got. That's true, Roger. I gotta remind myself exactly how many takeaways there were. Let me find it. Turnovers. Let's see, interceptions. Broncos had 3 interceptions and fumbles. Man, they don't make it easy. What was it? 5, Zach, I think, takeaways, or was it 4, not counting turnover, that one turnover on downs?
I think it was 4.
4?
Yeah.
But yeah,
It might have been 5.
That trend continues. They were one of the best, if not the best. Were they the best takeaways team last year? Maybe not. I got to double check that. But either way, highly encouraging developments. Riptide, what's going on, brother? Great to see you. Beard's looking luscious, I must say, my dog. Looking good, big dog. Says, glad to be back listening to you talk Broncos, ready for the season. Sky's the limit. Dude, it feels good. Zach, the gang's all here. The gang is returning. And it's from here till the end of the year, man. It's like the best time to be alive. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've noticed the numbers tonight. The live viewers of the podcast is exponentially higher than what it is on a normal podcast. And that means football season's here, and we couldn't be happier. So thank you so much, Riptide, for your support.
Yeah, Rich. Thanks, buddy. 4, he's saying. Ralph Brace on the takeaways. Ralph Bracegirdle, legend. Do you guys see Estime making this team? So glad injuries weren't a factor tonight. For an injury, prayers up for an injury-free preseason. Wish we could have seen Evan Ingram. Yeah, but better that we get to see him in the regular season. Wouldn't surprise me if they throw him out there a little bit in game 2, because game 2 has now become what game 3 used to be, Zach, which was kind of the dress rehearsal. But I got to tell you, I did not expect Bo Nix and that first team offense to be on the field as much as they were. And you could see that it was genuine frustration on the part of the coach to just keep trotting them out there till they got something. Finally, they get a field goal. He's like, all right, good enough for now. I'm not happy, but let's call it a night for you guys.
And as of right now, Ralph, I do not see Estime making this team. He was like way a cut below of the other running backs who looked fresh and explosive and athletic and decisive. Estime looked like he was trying to emulate Javonte Williams, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So as of right now, he'd be the odd man out if I was constructing the 53-man roster.
Slightly above average is a member. That's awesome. Legendary. Maybe one of the gifts from the Lady D. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Diamond Rattler, what's up, dude? Good to see you, pal. Hope you're doing well. Look, I still display my well, I don't want to call it a necklace, but it's the most badass D medallion is more like I call it, like I'm Indiana Jones, you know, and like remember that scene, Zach, in Indiana Jones on Raiders, where the guy gets the medallion thingamajigger and it burns his hand. Like it's kind of the MacGuffin of MHH. So it's our totem, let's call it, Diamond Rattler. Good to see you, pal. Let me see. Before I go back to the chat here, Zach, where are we at? We're half an hour in, kind of a later start, so we'll keep tonight, pardon me, relatively tight. So get your questions in, burning topics and supers. We will get to every one of them. But some other observations, pardon me, on defense, Zach. That kid, Robinson, Jaden Robinson, that kid looks legit, dude. I was really excited about him. I was stoked to see Jaquan McMillan come up with an interception after he'd gotten burned on that 50-yard touchdown, which again, or not touchdown, but 50-yard reception on San Francisco's first possession. He's a guy who's been directly under threat from Zadeh Barron. It was good to see him have a great play.
Yeah, you can tell he's feeling the pressure of the competition with Barron, and it's going to make both of them better. That's what you want from a cornerback. You talk about it all the time, Chad. Kind of like a quarterback, you have to have amnesia. If you get beat, you have to forget about it and go on to the next play. I still like Jaquan. I think he has a lot of value. I don't know where he lands in the pecking order, but he was a standout today. So was Jonah Ellis as well. The Broncos pass rush is loaded.
By the way, you know who – now you correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. I'm telling you based on what I saw. And I will admit, there were some points in the fourth quarter where I kind of was listening more than I was watching as I was getting things set up for the show. But it didn't seem like LaVelle Bailey really was able to translate all the buzz he's been generating onto this first preseason game.
And that should tell you something, because Sternad actually looked better in today's game than LaVelle Bailey did. And if you've read the reports, and it'd be the opposite. Bailey was the star of training camp so far, but that's what preseason's about. You never know what you're going to get, and see how he responds in preseason week 2, Chad.
Definitely. I'm just going through here looking at defense, trying to remember. It was cool to see JL Skinner force a fumble. Props to him, recovered by the rookie Savion Jones. So good to see the rookie, the third rounder, getting in on some action. Good to see JL Skinner making a play. Who, what is he now? 3 years in from being a 6th round draft pick. So kind of disappointed, I'll be honest, in Ioma Uwazurike. Starting to get my hopes up a little bit based on the buzz he's been generating in training camp. He had a bad penalty that called back a nice play. And then I just he didn't pop upon watching it live.
Yeah, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to go back on what I said about it being exhibition period. But we also have kind of raised the alarm bells, Chad, a little bit on the depth on the defensive line behind the starters. Maybe they'll be looking forward now, moving forward, looking at a impact player, maybe.
Eric Flynn, what's up, dude? Good to see you on Facebook. Hope you're doing well, brother. Nate, we've talked a lot about Bo Nix at the top of the show. So when we get off, feel free to kind of rewind it. Well, if there's specific questions about Bo, by all means, happy to answer them. But really, it just comes down to cobwebs, as Doc James said earlier in the show. Cobwebs, and again, a part of me wonders how much all this kind of hype that's been building about him, around him, I should say, since training camp started, how much of tonight is explained by that, I don't know. But yeah, it's early to talk Super Bowl. However, Zach, Mike Shanahan said something I found to be profound in that same interview that I've referenced a couple of times prior tonight, when he was talking to the team website, and on the subject of Sean Payton's, throwing the Super Bowl thing around publicly and talking about it. He had an interesting take, which was, I'll quote him. He said, let me find it here. He said, where is it? There it is. If you don't believe, meaning as the head coach, right? So quote, well, if you don't believe, the players are not going to believe. And that's what I love what Sean has done. He said, hey, we were pretty good last year. Take a look at where we finished on defense. Teams that finish almost in the top 5 in every area, especially on defense, gives you an opportunity right there. Then you take a look at the offense and some of the additions they've gotten through free agency. They're going to be a team to reckon with. You've still got to get lucky and stay healthy, and you've got to have a little luck on your side. But I like the way they're headed, close quote. But the profound point there that I'm talking about, Zach, is that, hey, man, the coach, faith precedes the miracle. And Sean Payton's telegraphing to his locker room and his staff, I believe we've got it this year. We at least have the potential to go all the way, and getting guys to buy in and feel that confidence and that swagger. It'll come in handy, trust, later in the season, that belief coming from the head coach.
Yeah, I don't think anything should be made negatively about Bo Nix's performance. I just looked up his stat line. He didn't take a sack. He didn't have a fumble. He didn't throw an interception. Why are we kind of treating it like it's a Nathan Peterman kind of vibe where he completely melted down and had multiple turnovers? He did what he had to do. The offensive line wasn't great. They were a little leaky. The running backs dropped a couple passes. They bobbled some. Cortland Sutton also bobbled one. It's going to get better going forward. Let's all relax and realize it's preseason.
Exactly. You hope you want to see more, like out of Sutton, especially. But you can't, at the same time, you can't fault him for that significantly underthrown ball in the end zone. They were lucky it wasn't picked off, but a bobble, etc., kind of slowed down the momentum on that opening drive. Shake it off, move on, and chin up, because preseason game 2 is going to be the first teamers kind of dress rehearsal. So hopefully we see a big bounce back. String Guy says it looked like Troy Franklin is a little ahead of Pat Bryant for wide receiver 2, at least in this first game. My money's still on Bryant for the starting receiver week 1, though. receiver 2. My money, I love it, but my money's still on Mims for wide receiver 2. I mean, who did you see the least of tonight? Franklin sure was one of them, but you didn't see that much of Sutton, Mims, or Vele, right? And there's a reason for that. Those are the guys currently at the top of the depth chart. Pat Bryant still has big opportunity to work his way up that, but I liked what I saw from him outside of the unfortunate holding penalty that called back another decent play today.
Yeah, Pat Bryant is going to be a stud for the Broncos. I don't know necessarily the Michael Thomas comparisons if he's going to live up to that ceiling, but he's going to be a reliable chain mover. And at worst, Tim Patrick 2.0 in Denver. You can never have enough of those kind of players, or Troy Franklin's for that matter. So regardless of title, I think, Chad, they're going to be interchangeable how Sean Payton deploys them. As long as they have good players catching passes for Bo Nix, they'll be A-okay.
Ronk says 30 unanswered points for the Broncos. Exactly. I mean, guys, take the wins where they are. And that is not only literally did the Broncos win the game, they won it handily. And the depth on this roster, this is something if you guys were watching Thursday night, one of my mentors in this business, Emmett Smith, he was known, his pen name is Doc Bear. He was jumping in and part of the conversation late in the stream, which was kind of fun to see Doc. But one of the things he used to talk a lot about with his website, which is where I came from, the community of his website was called It's All Over Fat Man, or IAOFM.com. Anyway, he would talk about, this was at the peak of, not the peak, like the very beginning of the Manning years, and talk about elite depth, which the Broncos really had. And I'm seeing that again, Zach. I'm seeing tonight, it's like really jumping out to me. Boy, oh boy, there is some depth on this roster.
In most areas, yeah, I think we touched on one area that could be deeper unless the Henningsons and the Uzuriques rise up, and that's defensive line. But regardless, this is a team that's a bona fide playoff contender, and if Sean Payton's right, a championship contender.
Lady D, love you so much.
Thank
Jumping
you,
back in, another generous super chat. On top of 20 additional memberships for fellow members of the community. So dope. Love you. She says, Stidham with that touchdown throw. Holy moly. So amazing. Great throw and catch. Yeah, not just the catch, but like the presence of mind and the athleticism and control of Sherfield to get 2 feet in. For a preseason game, we did okay. Bo and our first-string players are going to thrive this season. Go Broncos, MHH for life. Well, I can tell you too, Lady D and everybody else, that, hey, when they're doing the film study and they're going over the stats, this and that in their meetings this week, Bo Nix is going to be fired up that he was the lowest rated quarterback on the field for the Broncos tonight. He had like a QB rating of like 60. So, guys, trust. It's too early to freak. Don't freak. It's going to be fine. Bo Nix showed you last year what he's made of. But it was cool to see Stidham looking good and also flashing that athleticism of his that is super sneaky. Not as explosive as Bo Nix is, but man, he's definitely not a Tom Brady giraffe out there, with lead feet. He can run, dude.
Coaching. It's amazing that no matter what quarterback Sean Payton picks up, yes, even Russell Wilson, they have success under him. It's just amazing having that elite level instruction on the Broncos staff. And for Bo, I feel like, Deanna, and thank you again so much. Genuinely, it's amazing what you've contributed tonight. It would have been worse in a way if they would have looked flawless, if Bo Nix would have threw 4 touchdowns and threw for 300 yards, because I think maybe a false sense of superiority or reading your own press clippings, getting too high on your own play. I want this to happen now. I genuinely do. I want the Broncos defense to pick off Bo in practice. I want the Broncos offense to face some resistance and face some callous in the summer. That's what it's all about. I'm not freaking out. I'm happy you're not as well, Deanna. Thank you so much.
Guys, sorry to keep tonight relatively tight, but there's a lot of business that still has to be done this evening with post-game coverage at milehighhuddle.com, Broncos on SI. So love you. We got a few messages for you. Then we're going to take one last look at the chat. So don't leave quite yet.
Another tremendous episode, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, Scott, our producer at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out mhhmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at facebook.com/mile-high-huddle-pod. You can find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, 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 very important that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really does help us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
One last reminder, guys, you want to become a member. Easy to do. Just go to the homepage of our YouTube channel and you'll see the join button. Click that, follow it through. We've got Kelberman's Corner kicking off once again this week, Tuesday, noon Mountain, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, Broncos Book Club and a lot of other fun stuff we got cooked up for our members this football season. It's going to be a gas. So remember, you don't need a link. Just go to the homepage on our channel through the app or through a browser. Click join. You'll see it right there. Bada bing, bada bang. Mile High salute. A special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars, supporters, and members helping us keep the lights on tonight on a glorious 30-9 victory in the preseason opener over the Niners. Taylor, appreciate you, brother. William, Papa Bear, Tanner, great to see you back, buddy. Ted, great to see you back. Jeff, great to see you back. The Ronk, of course, been at the campfire all year long. Gene, the same. Naj, great to have you back in the chat, brother. Jess as well. Duchess never leaves our side. She is reliable as the day is long. She is family. Claude, great to see you. Doc, also becoming a member. Thank you, buddy. Again, D-Dub, legendary Mount Rushmore family. Newer name, Viborita. Stoked to have you. Checking in from Mexico on Super Chat. First face etched on the Mount Rushmore. Zeus, Lady D, multiple supers, gifting memberships. Love it so much. Love you, Lady D. Riptide back in the saddle. Ralph with us, never left. And guys, if I missed anybody on Facebook tonight, forgive us because we don't have Scott with us tonight, but we'll have him tomorrow when Zach and I return at our normal time on Sunday, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Cannot wait.
That's right. We'll be podcasting 3 nights in a row this week. It's going to be amazing. Back tomorrow night to break down more of the Broncos preseason opening victory against the 49ers. Have a great rest of your Saturday. We will see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.